Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. We got a last second. I've been scrambling to get this thing live tonight, so apologies for the delay, but we're here live. Probably gonna have to be a little bit quick. Been scrambling around, but I'm gonna try to go game by game here, answer any questions you guys have on this slate tonight. As always, giving you guys the top plays. And if you have any questions in the chat, please do let me know. If you can hear me loud and clear, please do let me know. Looks like the connection is booting up for me here. So just work with me for a second as we're getting live. Ready to go. But we should be good, guys. We should be good. Hopefully you watched the prize picks video this morning. You got some prize picks locked in. If you haven't signed up over there, that is the sponsor of the program. Check them out, guys. Player prop site. You can pick the over, under, fantasy points, points, rebounds, assists, all that fun stuff. I've been covering that daily on the channel. Use that code KJK DFS. You'll receive an instant match deposit up to $100. But we're talking about DraftKings and FanDuel on this one. So we're going to go game by game on DraftKings as always. Then we'll go on over to FanDuel. Looks like things are looking a little bit rough connection-wise right now. This should alter up. I got the settings on to work with me here, so apologies if that's the case. Hopefully you can hear me. I think everyone can. It looks like everyone's still filing in here. But if I could get some confirmation that you can, that would be fantastic. Patrick, how you doing in the chat tonight? But we're going to go game by game here. We're going to pull up the DraftKings first. We're going to talk about that, kind of give an overall feel for the slate, and then we'll break on over to FanDuel as well. I got to get the injury news up here. That's the only thing I didn't pull up. I knew I was missing something. Get the old Twitter feed so we can react live to that. And then we should be good. Should be good to go. We got PJ Tucker. This is questionable for Saturday. That does not pertain to tonight's slate. We got Tyler Hero. Shake Milton's available to play tonight. So that just came through. Tyrese Maxey's available. Terry Taylor was just ruled out. Isaiah Jackson in. Malcolm Brogdon out. So that's going to impact some of our lineups. I'll be updating my projections as we're going along here. And breaking this thing down. So let's do game by game. Charlotte taking on Detroit is the first game here. No Gordon Hayward in this one, so that should open up some more minutes for a Kelly Oubre, a PJ Washington. Those two guys directly correlated with Hayward as far as minutes. We've seen Kelly Oubre's minutes really step up as of late, 36 and 38, so he's going to be looking pretty good at a 5.9 price tag on DraftKings. This game comes in with a 226.5 over-under, two of the worst defenses in the league, so definitely one you want to be targeting from a fantasy point aspect. We've seen Kelly Oubre starting. Montrezl Harrell was acquired by this Hornets team, so that'll be interesting. I'm not too sure if he's available to make his debut tonight. I don't think he is. He's not even listed here, so that shouldn't be factored in quite yet in our projections, so that's not an issue. But yeah, overall in this one, I can tell you right now, Terry Rozier had to go ahead and make the thumbnail for this live stream real quick. And Terry Rozier's popping in my projections pretty good here. So he's someone I popped right up on the thumbnail because he's someone I'm going to have a lot of interest in right now. 7.3 price tag on DraftKings, and he's been playing massive minutes. We've seen him play 39 and 41 the last two times out. I've got him projected to play 38 minutes at a 1.01 DK point per minute clip against one of the worst defenses in the league. That's going to be looking really good. Kelly Oubre at 5.9. We just talked about it, but he's another guy certainly going to be peaking in my lineups tonight. I can tell you right now at a 5.9 price tag, minutes have been way up. Definitely a very good candidate to be playing tonight. Got him projected to play at 32 minutes. He's played 36 and 38 the last two times out, so I would even say there's room for more upside there at a 5.9 price tag. LaMelo Ball looking really good. PJ Washington looking really good. And then on the Detroit side, we have Corey Joseph at 4.3, Jeremiah Grant at 6K. They're both going to be pretty great plays on this slate tonight. Cade Cunningham listed as questionable for the time being, assuming he's out. If he is, Jeremiah Grant at a 6K price tag. I was talking about it on last stream. It was going to be looking really good. He put up 35.5 DraftKings points, only played 29 minutes in that blowout. So in a game that can actually stay close at a 1 DK point per minute clip, he's going to be looking really good. And then Isaiah Stewart at 5.4. I mean, this game is really popping for some guys at some friendly price tags that are getting massive minutes in my projection model right now. So loading up on both sides. Isaiah Stewart, Jeremiah Grant, Corey Joseph, Miles Bridges is 8.1. He looks like a pretty great play to me in my projection model here. So, yeah, a lot of interest in this first game. So those are some of the names I am going to be rocking with here. Isaiah Stewart, Jeremiah Grant that I just talked about. We're going to see Corey Joseph play a lot of minutes if there is indeed no Cade Cunningham, which I'm anticipating there isn't right now. And the Charlotte Hornets are one of the best matchups in the league. Defensive half-court and putbacks tool says they're the 22nd best team overall in the points per possession rank. Detroit ranks 24th in points per possession rank. So definitely a spot that I'm going to be wanting to target both sides, lock some of those guys in that I just discussed, and feel pretty confident about it tonight on this one. Cleveland taking on Indiana, the second game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 214.5 over-under, 6-point spread in favor of Cleveland. This is the first time Karis LeVert playing his former team in Indiana, so I think that's a pretty intriguing narrative here. And he's someone at an 8.6 price tag on this new Cleveland squad. Should be getting a lot of usage. Not always the most efficient guy, but we know the upside's there when he's on. 28 minutes last time. I think he's going to continue to see more minutes in this rotation. And anytime a guy's acquired by a team and they take on his former team, I think the coaching staff wants him to play good. I think his team wants him to play good. I think him himself, he wants to show Indiana that they missed out and made a mistake trading him away. So I think Karis LeVert makes a lot of sense tonight. There's a narrative behind it. Overall, from a projection and upside aspect, certainly looks like a great play as well. So he's someone that I would certainly want to be loading up on the Cleveland side of things. As far as the Indiana side of things, where I'm going to be looking right now, I know I'm going to have to make some updates in my projections with that latest piece of news. We do have some new guys in the rotation for Indiana, so this will be the first time. We have some Buddy Hield in there now, some other options that these guys just acquired that we could certainly be looking to on this slate tonight. Tristan Thompson for Indiana, I do think is a pretty interesting option. He's priced very friendly at a 3.5 price tag. With the confirmation that there is going to be some of these centers banged up on the Indiana side. Maybe he gets some more minutes. Goga's expected to start. They have Isaiah Jackson back in is the only thing, so who knows how many minutes Tristan Thompson's going to get. I can only really speculate at this point. But yeah, overall, I mean, this game, I'm not going to have nearly as much interest as I did in that first game that we just talked about, I will say. Looking like some decent options, but outside of a couple guys, I mean, Cleveland, Indiana, not exactly the best. Isaac Okoro is only 3.6. He's going to get plenty of run, but he just isn't exactly the best fantasy point producer. So for me, that's a little bit sketchy. I do think Buddy Hield at 5.1 is pretty intriguing. I've got him projected to play in the mid-20s. Now that he's not in this Sacramento squad, he's expected to start in this lineup in a 5.1 price tag. I think that's a really interesting option to be capitalizing on. His minutes were somewhat capped when he was playing with the Sacramento squad. I think on Indiana, probably going to take a big role step forward here. So for me, definitely willing to take some risks on some Buddy Hield in my tournament lineups tonight. Third game on the slate, we got Oklahoma City taking on Philadelphia as far as the total in this game. This game comes in right now with a 206 over-under. It's a 14-point spread. Montrezl Harrell is available to make Hornets debut Friday. So we just got confirmation on that. So Harrell will be in the rotation. That just came through and got confirmed. So that could maybe make things a little bit more dicey for PJ Washington. I think Kelly Oubre still gets plenty of minutes on the wing no matter what. But PJ Washington maybe gets hurt a little bit with Montrezl Harrell being in the rotation. And from what I saw, he's not even available in the DraftKings salaries, so not exactly available to play him. But yeah, that's the latest update. Oklahoma City taking on Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey's in. Seth Curry was traded away, so he's not going to be in. Andre Drummond was traded away. Shake Milton's expected to be back in this one. They definitely get a good matchup. It's just a question of is this game going to stay close? And probably not. It's a 14-point spread in favor of Philadelphia. That's a little bit dicey for me. As far as anyone that's popping my projections, Ty Jerome on the Oklahoma City side, he's only 3.8 with there continuing to be no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's looking somewhat intriguing to me. We still got a Pokusevski at 3.5. But the main two guys that we're going to be looking to on the Oklahoma City side are the highest usage guys in Lou Dort and Josh Giddey. They're continuing to really carry the load here. I think Lou Dort at his price tag, Darius Bazley, specifically those two guys, 6'3 and 5'8. If this game does stay close, they're playing massive minutes. They have a lot of upside at their respective price tags. So those are the two guys to be looking to alongside Josh Giddey. If I'm getting exposure to the other side, maybe running it back with these three guys. But overall, not a game I have as much interest in as some of these other ones we talked about. Joel Embiid should absolutely be able to beast and feast on the inside against this Oklahoma City squad. So if you want to pay up for him, decent pay up option. It's just you're paying a lot. 11.9 price tag for a 206 over under. There's some other faster paced games we're going to be talking about as we go along here that I would like to be targeting. So decent pay up option. Just not sure he's going to be too much of a priority for me in my lineup tonight. Overall. So that's kind of where I'm looking to in this game. Denver taking on Boston is the next game on the slate. This game comes in right now with a 218 over-under. It's a 6-point spread in favor of Boston, so expected to stay close. I definitely have some interest on the Boston side of things. Some guys really popping for me in my projection model. Marcus Smart's only 5'4". He continues to play a lot of minutes at the point guard position. We've seen him have a lot more assist upside, a lot more scoring upside. He put up 34.245 DraftKings points last time out, and 0.86 DK points per minute on the season. I think that's pretty intriguing. Also, really want to be taking a look to an Al Horford at 5'7". Once again, a guy that's priced very reasonable. His upside at this price tag, I think, is massive. His minutes have been fluctuating, so that's something we don't quite have confirmation on. Does kind of, go up and down from game to game, but you have to keep in mind, the last 2 games were big blowouts. So the games before that we had seen close, he 33 and 32 minutes the games before. So I think we could possibly see him go back up to that 30-plus minute mark. Seems kind of likely, considering he played 29 and 22 in blowouts, that he's able to get up in the mid to upper 20s at least. I've got him projected on the aggressive side. I will say I've got him projected to play 30 minutes. So for me, that's going to make him really pop, but I'm willing to go here in my tournament lineups, take the risk that he does get that playing time. The game is expected to stay close, so I'm willing to, count that into my projections and go there for him personally. Running it back on the other side, Will Barton looks really good at a 6'4" price tag. The obvious candidate is going to be, Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic always going to be the top usage guy and the best fantasy point per minute producer in the league. So always going to be viable as a pay-up option in any game that stays close. But for me, top upside at his price tag is going to indeed be Will Barton. He's only 6'4", putting up 0.95 DK points per minute. I've got him projected to play 32 minutes. Once again, I would say that's a little bit modest. He could even play more. We've seen him play anywhere from 33 up to 37. So I'm definitely willing to, take a chance that he does get that full allotment of minutes. And if he does, he's going to have a fantastic game here at this respective price tag. So Will Barton, I like quite a bit in this game. And then everyone else we kind of already covered. I mean, Jason Tatum has a pay-up option for Boston. Does look pretty good to me, actually. So I will say, from a pay-up aspect, he really doesn't look too bad at a 9.6 price tag, 1.27 DK points per minute on the season. I typically encourage people to go to Jaylen Brown when these guys are priced further apart, but Jason Tatum's price tag has come all the way down to 9.6 after we were paying a pretty hefty price tag for him for quite some time there. He was all the way up to 10.6. So hasn't had the biggest of performances as of late, but I'm willing to take the risk that this is the one he gets back on that upside of 50 plus DraftKings points, which we know he's capable of. So Jason Tatum actually looking like a pretty great play for me on this slate tonight. San Antonio Spurs taking on Atlanta. Next game on the slate. There's no more Derek White in San Antonio, which I do think is going to really help a couple guys. Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, most notably, Jakob Poeltl, DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, and Josh Primo off the bench, all looking like pretty fantastic options. And then obviously don't forget about DeJounte Murray. You take him out of the equation, they get to take on an Atlanta Hawks team, one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Looking at my defensive half court and putbacks, premium content, I can see Atlanta's ranked 27th overall in the league in points per possession rank, 24th in half court points per play rank, 17th in putbacks, so they're just really not good defensively. And for that reason, certainly willing to attack them with these San Antonio Spurs guys. Devin Vassell at 4K is really popping for me in my projection model right now. With there being no more Derek White, his minutes should be way up, his usage should be way up, putting up 0.89 DK points per minute on the season. So Devin Vassell making a lot of sense to me in my tournament lineups tonight for sure. Really popping. I want to get some exposure to him. On the other side, I like Kevin Huerter a lot at 4.2. Also a guy that's popping in my projection model. Expected to get a lot of minutes. Lonnie Walker, we talked about off the bench for San Antonio. Wrong guy there, though. We want to go to Kevin Huerter. 4.2, he's playing in them 30 minutes per game. He's putting up 0.75 DK points per minute. Can be a little bit streaky. Is a really good shooter, though, so the upside's massive. When he does get hot from behind the arc, Kevin Huerter can really rack up those fantasy points in a hurry on DraftKings where you get that 3-point bonus. So I like going to some Kevin Huerter tonight. Danilo Gallinari, another guy at 4.1, looking like a pretty great play for me in my projection model, so I'm certainly willing to take some shots on him in tournaments. Once again, fast up-tempo game. He does come off the bench. The minutes can be a little bit inconsistent. Only got him projected to play 23 minutes, but 0.84 DK points per minute. We've seen him go out there and, drop a quick 40 DraftKings points in only, 25 minutes or so. Plenty of time, so willing to get some tournament exposure there. Probably not a guy I'd be going to in like cash, but DraftKings tournaments, I think that he's certainly making some sense for me. And then, of course, the high usage guys, Trae Young, Bogdanovic. Those two guys look really great. 9.9 and 5K in a fast up-tempo game. Bogdanovic, 5K, he's been playing, anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. But keep in mind, last time was a big blowout, so I wouldn't take that too seriously. But Trae Young, John Collins at 6'6". John Collins looks fantastic at 6'6". That's just too cheap for him. So typically playing mid-30s minutes. The only thing that really holds him back is foul trouble. But if he's able to avoid some foul trouble, there's some big upside baked into this price tag. It's just too cheap at a 6.6 price tag, and it's a risk that I'm willing to take with his foul trouble issues. DeAndre Hunter, honestly, a lot of these guys looking really good. Similar to that Detroit-Charlotte game, 2 games that are really popping for me from a salary aspect and minutes is this game and then the Charlotte-Detroit game. So willing to load up on these guys. Keldon Johnson is the biggest beneficiary with there being no more Derek White. Keldon Johnson's price tag, I would not be surprised in the least to see this climb up into the 7 to 8K range very soon here with there being no more Derek White. If you've been watching my content for quite some time, you've heard me say Derek White and Keldon Johnson are very negatively correlated. Well, there's no more Derek White, so it's going to be all the Keldon Johnson usage. And I'm going to be a very big fan of jumping on the Keldon Johnson bandwagon right now at this price tag with no Derek White. He's going to be popping and looking really good, so I'd highly encourage you to get a lot of exposure to Keldon Johnson tonight. Minnesota taking on Chicago. Going to be the next game on the slate. Nikola Vucevic listed as questionable. He is more so probable, though, so expect him to be able to go. Anthony Edwards listed as questionable. He's a true questionable. D'Angelo Russell listed as questionable. He's a true questionable. Then you have Ayu Dosunmu listed as questionable. True questionable. Patrick Beverley listed as questionable. Taurean Prince. So a lot of injury news to be reflecting on in this Minnesota-Chicago game. Obviously, the more guys that are out on Minnesota, the better that Karl Anthony Towns is going to be looking specifically at a 9.8 price tag. Based upon the Vegas lines and everything in this game, I would say that they're anticipating that Minnesota is fully healthy because it's only a 3-point spread in favor of Chicago. If Minnesota was without 2 of their top 3 guys, I do not think this would be a 3-point spread. So I'm anticipating that they're all in right now, just based on the Vegas lines. Obviously, we don't know that. That's just speculation. That's just what I'm rolling with. And it's a 241 over-under, so getting exposure here is definitely going to be a priority. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, high-usage guys against the Minnesota squad in this fast, up-tempo environment. Going to love Zach LaVine at a 9.2 price tag. Love DeMar DeRozan. Love Nikola Vucevic. Those 3 guys, we know the usage is there. We know it's all flowing through them. The secondary guys and Kobe White and Javonte Green, you could certainly be getting some exposure to. It's not quite as easy to be just loading up on these guys as it is with those other 3. I'd be more so just mixing and blending these guys if I'm playing lots of lineups. But for me, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic looking phenomenal. They are a little bit negatively correlated, obviously, when one guy is doing stuff the other. But if there was ever a game environment, all 3 of them could get there. I think this is the one. In general, I think a good rule of thumb is to maximize yourself to 2 of the big 3 on both sides. So 2 of DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic, and LaVine per lineup. Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and D'Angelo Russell, same thing, 2 of them. And typically speaking, if you're paying up for the most expensive guy, Chicago's priced close enough. But if you're paying up for Karl Anthony Towns, you definitely only want to go to one of the other guys because Karl Anthony Towns is 9.8. So both of those guys are going to have a hard time getting there if Karl Anthony Towns gets there. But if you're fading Karl Anthony Towns, playing Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell certainly makes a lot of sense to me because, they're priced at a much friendlier price tag, 7.8 and 7.4. They could easily both get there. If you're fading Karl Anthony Towns, the game flow and everything, if the way it breaks down is these 2 guys have the biggest games with their price tags and everything factored in, it makes a lot of sense to me. So just keep in mind when you're playing, 2 or 3 superstars, they are negatively correlated, but based upon how your lineup is built, should be based, that should determine kind of which of these guys you're playing. It's really that simple. So then you got to factor in the Minnesota-Chicago narrative. I mean, Zach LaVine taking on his former team, in Minnesota, that's always a thing. So if you want to factor that in, great. I don't think we really have to. He looks like a great play regardless, but maybe he's got a little bit of extra juice, a little bit of extra motivation to play good against his former team. But still going to be looking like a great play regardless. The numbers grayed out, the minutes grayed out, the game environment is fantastic. It's the best game environment on the slate. So love me some Zach LaVine tonight for sure. Last game, we got a 222.5 over under 13.5 point spread in favor of Utah. I think Orlando's going to have a really hard time keeping this game close. So Donovan Mitchell, certainly a great pay-up option. The question is how many minutes does he play? The good news is he soaks up so much usage that even if the game does turn into a blowout, there's a high likelihood that he gets there and the rest of his teammates don't. Once again, this is a correlation spot, though, so if you're paying Donovan Mitchell, probably not playing his cheaper teammates. If you're playing his cheaper teammates, probably not playing Donovan Mitchell. It's just kind of impossible for them to both get there if this game does turn into a blowout. So Mike Conley, Bogdanovich, you can maybe load up on both those guys priced in the lower price range, and Jordan Clarkson as well. Looking at my projection model right now, I can tell you that Jordan Clarkson looks like a really great play at a 5.2 price tag. I've got him projected to play 27 minutes at 0.97 DK points per minute. That's going to look, really friendly in this matchup against an Orlando Magic team that's one of the worst teams in the league. Once again, though, A little bit negatively correlated to some of these guys. He does play with the second unit, so I think it's possible to play, a Mike Conley and a Jordan Clarkson, or a Donovan Mitchell and a Jordan Clarkson. But I wouldn't want to play like Conley and Mitchell together. They're pretty negatively correlated, so that's not really too smart. You could play Clarkson and one of those starting guys, considering they're not on the floor and sharing those same minutes at the same time. But that would be kind of my approach there. And overall in this game, I mean, Hassan Whiteside at 5'6" would be a great play. They've seen his minutes kind of cut down. He's a little bit versatile off the bench, but this price tag and his fantasy point production, he puts up 1.18 DK points per minute. We saw him go out there and put up a 50 spot last time, so that's the kind of upside you get out of him, and maybe he gets some run if this game turns into a blowout with some even more run. So willing to take some risks on him in some tournament lineups. Royce O'Neal at 4K looks pretty respectable. Cole Anthony, Gary Harris. Cole Anthony's definitely my top option on the Orlando side. If I'm running it back, if I'm hoping this game stays close and I need someone to go off, it's definitely going to be Cole Anthony for me that I'm running it back with at 7-2. Put up 50.75 DraftKings points last time. Puts up 1.09 DK points per minute. Obviously, you're probably going to want to get exposure to some other high usage guys if the game stays close. Wendell Carter would be my second favorite option. So playing a Wendell Carter and a Cole Anthony on the other side, if you're loading up on like some Donovan Mitchell, I think is very positively correlated and can help you get to the top of the leaderboards tonight. So that would be a strategy if you are wanting to get some exposure. And then obviously keep in mind Rudy Gobert is still listed as questionable here. He's a game time decision, so if he's in or out, that's going to impact some minutes, some rotation minutes here. And the same can be said for Jalen Suggs, listed as questionable. He implied that he's going to play though, so I'm anticipating that Jalen Suggs is indeed in. So that's my overall breakdown on DraftKings, guys. Going to be going over to FanDuel, answering any questions. I see we have some more people filing in here. Only 5 likes, guys. If you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, sign up today using that promo code KJK DFS. They are the sponsor of the program. Dropped a Prize Picks video earlier with my picks. I also have a premium content package for both DraftKings, FanDuel, and Prize Picks. If you haven't checked that out, patreon.com/KJK_DFS. I'm going to drop that in the chat right now for anyone that's interested in some further content from me. And before we head on over to FanDuel, I just want to make sure I'm caught up on the chat here. If you have any questions, Camilo, welcome in. How you doing tonight? Sean says, yo, Pat, what's going on? Sean, Patrick, hit the like button. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Patrick. Hit that like button, guys. I'm a sucker for hometown narratives, so I got to roll with Miles Bridges. Yeah, I think Miles Bridges grades out as a good play regardless of the hometown narrative. In my projection model, I like a lot of those Charlotte Hornets guys tonight. So Whiteside kills Orlando, but this Gobert news is annoying. Yeah, I think that Whiteside could even pay off if Gobert's ruled in for some reason. He's coming off the bench. He produces at a high enough rate on a permanent basis to where even if Gobert is ruled in, I think some Hassan Whiteside exposure could definitely pay off for you in your tournament lineup. So definitely not a cash play. Definitely not a cash play, but tournaments. I'd be willing to rock with some Hassan Whiteside tonight. So, all right, guys, let's check out some FanDuel. We talked about DraftKings. A lot of the stuff we talked about obviously is going to apply over here as well. But I always like to point out some pricing discrepancies. Obviously, we do play daily fantasy sports in the world of a salary cap. So, we got to be talking about the top exposure guys that I'm looking to, top values. Terry Rozier, once again, looking phenomenal over here on FanDuel, where he's priced at only 6'4". Once I dropped him, I said I was in a rush to get this live video up and going. Just getting home from, my other job as far as work and all that stuff. So, but looking really good at a 6,400 price tag on FanDuel. That's fantastic. He's playing in the high 30s per game, putting up 0.97 FanDuel points per minute. He's traditionally a guy that's really good at racking up those steals, which is always fantastic on FanDuel, where you get the 3 points for the blocks and steals. I am willing to load up on Terry Rozier, so I like him a lot. Jeremiah Grant continues to be priced way too cheap over here at a 5.2 price tag. We did just get news that Cade Cunningham is in. So just so you guys know, not going to be looking quite as friendly, but Jeremiah Grant, if anything, that probably helps him. The game's more likely to stay close. So I like Cade Cunningham and Jeremiah Grant as my top 2 options on the Pistons side, followed up by Isaiah Stewart. So that's where I'd be looking to on this slate tonight. And Kelly Oubre at 6'1", once again, phenomenal play. These Hornets guys I'm going to be loading up on. The Detroit guys that I talked about I'm going to be loading up on. That San Antonio Spurs Atlanta game I'm going to be loading up on. Zach LaVine at 8K over here on FanDuel. I talked about liking him on DraftKings. He's criminally underpriced over here on FanDuel. 8K is way too cheap. Does only have shooting guard eligibility, but I would be glad to soak up one of those shooting guard spots with a Zach LaVine, a guy that has 50-plus FanDuel point upside in the best game environment on the slate. Very fast up tempo. That just seems like a lock for me over here on FanDuel. Same can be said for Anthony Edwards at 7-4 in that same game environment. Definitely have a lot of interest in him. He is listed as questionable. D'Angelo Russell 7-4. He is listed as questionable. Once again, just speculation on my part, but being that the game does only have a 3-point spread, I'm anticipating that all these Minnesota guys are in. That could come back to bite you. I mean, it's not, that game doesn't start until after the first game's on the slate, so a little bit dicey, but I'm willing to get a little risky with that on some late swap in my tournament lineups. If you're playing tournaments, I think it makes sense to be going to these Minnesota guys for sure. Yeah, D'Lo looks great in my projection. We talked about Al Horford at 6K on FanDuel. He looks pretty good as well. Karl-Anthony Towns at 9-6 in that fast up-tempo game at the center position. Certainly willing to play him, especially if those guys get rolled out. Same for Nikola Vucevic. Robert Williams at 7-5. Always a good play on FanDuel. We get the 3 points for blocks and steals for sure. Mo Bamba at 4-8, really cheap. A little bit dicey to be going to him, honestly, but decent. Jason Tatum at 9-2. Looks like a great play. I talked about him. John Collins at 7-4 against that San Antonio team. Keldon Johnson, one of my top plays on the slate because there's no more Derek White. Derek White, a guy that was really taking away from Keldon Johnson's usage rate and Keldon Johnson's upside as long as he was in San Antonio. Derek White is now gone, no longer in San Antonio, so I think that's huge for Keldon Johnson specifically. So, I mean, I really like Keldon Johnson. And, I mean, yeah, that's some of my top plays over here. Josh Giddey's price very friendly over here on FanDuel at 7K. We already talked about him, but certainly someone that makes a lot of sense for me. And, yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys we already talked about. Looking pretty good over here as well. But that San Antonio Spurs game, the Atlanta Hawks game, Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, those guys over here making sense. The Charlotte game, the Detroit game, I really like that game, specifically on the Charlotte side. I mean, Kelly Oubre really been phenomenal as long as there has been no Gordon Hayward. Miles Bridges, 7-4, really cheap, man. So, I mean, the Charlotte guys just look great on this slate tonight. So, I talked about all of them. I just love the Charlotte guys, so definitely willing to go to them. Camilo says, D'Lo or Spider for DFS? If I had to go with one of those guys, I mean, I would go D'Angelo Russell if he's in, just based upon the upside at his price tag, and I'm a little bit worried about the Orlando game turning into a blowout. But, I mean, Donovan Mitchell gets the best matchup he could possibly ask for, taking on an Orlando squad, and there's a solid chance that Donovan Mitchell could put up a huge game, and he's the reason that the game does turn into a blowout. So, if you're asking me to pick one of those guys, I'm definitely going with D'Lo. But Donovan Mitchell is not a bad play. I'll make that clear. I would definitely go with D'Lo over him, though. Kader Vucevic, that's going to depend upon the news, the D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards news. Obviously, if those guys are out or one of them's out, Karl-Anthony Towns gets a huge bump up here. If I had to go with one of these guys right now, I'm going to go with Vucevic. He just gets a better matchup. And for that reason, I just think he has higher upside than a Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns kind of taking that back row seat to those other two guys, so a little bit concerning for me. I'd rather go Vooch, but if those guys get rolled out, that could very quickly turn into Karl-Anthony Towns, so we do need that injury news. But right now, I'd go with Vooch. All right, guys. Jigga says, I'm back for the lock of the night. Yeah, man, I don't have a lock of the night once again. I didn't put out a video earlier, but Jigga, I believe you were here last time when I told you to play some Gary Trent, and I think if you did, you would have been pretty happy for that, so if you can confirm with me if you were here for that. But as always, I mean, I can give you an on-the-fly lock of the night on the live stream. It's not official. I don't have the fancy-dancy music and the graphics. But, I mean, if I had to give you a lock of the night, we're going to go with the thumbnail boy, Terry Rozier. I really like Terry Rozier on both websites. The price tag's really friendly. The minutes have been phenomenal as of late, 6-4. We have Montrezl Harrell joining this team, but that's not going to affect Terry Rozier's minutes. He's 6-4 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they've got him priced at a 7-3 price tag. I really like him on both. Yeah, smash the like button. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But I'm probably going to bounce out of here. We got 18 people. I want to make sure that if there's any likes, or I'm sorry, well, I want to make sure you hit the like button before I end the stream, that's for sure. But I wanted to make sure if there's any questions, I address them before I leave. So if there's any last minute, really serious questions, please do ask them. I will gladly help you out with that. And if you haven't signed up for the premium content, that's where I'm going to be headed after this, guys. I'm going to be updating the premium content, the projections, the core plays for both Prize Picks and DraftKings FanDuel. Patreon.com/KJK_DFS. If you want to hop in there, you get access to the Discord chat. You can ask me questions up until lock, because that's where I'm headed right now. I'm going to help out those premium content members. If you don't have any other questions, though, and you want to, I just sucker punch the like button, Joseph says. That's what I'm talking about, Joseph. My guy. But, yeah, man, I'm going to be heading to the premium content projections, updating that stuff, my core plays. If you are interested, would love to have you join the team. All you got to do is sign up over here, patreon.com/KJK_DFS. All that stuff's linked below in the description. Sign up using that promo code KJK DFS over there on Prize Picks. Show me some love as far as that. That's another great way to support the content. And I do give out picks for that. I do have a premium content package for that. As a matter of fact, that's where I'm going to be jumping off to update those core plays as well. Had a lot going on today, so I wanted to make sure I got this live stream in for you guys. Helped out my my loyal viewers that are hopping on these live streams. We haven't been getting the biggest amount of views here, but, I mean, that's okay. Still want to help you guys out. We're getting like 15 to 20 people per stream, and I know from the looks of it, we got 15 people, and 15 people hit that like button. So I really do greatly appreciate the ones that are here that are supporting me, and that's why I keep doing these things. I want to help you guys out. So if you enjoyed, as Joseph said, sucker punch that like button before you head out the door. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. You don't miss when I go live. And wishing you guys all the best of luck tonight. I'm going to hop on over to the Discord chat for my premium guys. We'll see you there. Wishing you guys all the best of luck. Thanks for tuning into this, guys. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.